Hello, my name is Mistress Quinn, and I just kind of decided randomly that I wanted to make a podcast. Actually, that's not true. I've been thinking about making a podcast for a while, but I have all these, I want it to be polished and perfect. And so, because I have all these ideas of how I want it to be edited, and I'm an online sex worker, so my plate is full. Um, and my perfectionism is just kind of making it never happen. So, I've decided this is not going to be perfect. If I want to make a perfect podcast, I can always do that at a later time. So I'm just going to hit record and then upload. And there's going to be there's going to be pauses, there's going to be, I don't know, probably awkward moments when I get anxious that I have to think of what to say on the spot. I don't know why that happens to me when I'm recording myself. I'm a cam model. I'm live all the time. And hitting record for a podcast is somehow it like gives me anxiety. I don't anyways. Okay, let's get to the introduction. So I'm Mistress Quinn. I have been a sex worker for like 3 years, and I have been a cam model for like 2 years ish. Maybe two and a half now. This podcast is going to be extremely honest. I don't know, tell you how much I make. I'm gonna tell you to go find other podcasts that I really love, that have taught me a lot, where I get a lot of my information from. There's gonna be cursing. There's gonna be no filter. I checked the Spotify um, terms of use and the rules and everything, and I can pretty much talk about my job in every way I want to, except for I can't describe genitals for the purpose of, um, I don't know, I guess getting off, which I wouldn't describe genitals for that purpose anyways, but maybe if I were to get into the nitty-gritty of what I tell people on cam to do to themselves, that might be going over the rules. I'm gonna try to avoid doing that. Anyways, speaking of no filter, this is probably a good time to say that this is an adult podcast. Okay, I'm gonna say this thing that I got from a podcast called Betwixt the Sheets. I don't know if you have heard of it, but it's hosted by this wonderful podcaster named Kate Lister. She's in England, and her podcast is about everything scandalous in history. You should totally go check it out. But she has this intro that I just love, and I'm going to repeat it. So, this is an adult podcast spoken by adults to other adults in an adulty way about adulty things, and you should be an adult too. I just love that. It's very, please don't listen to this if you're under 18. It's very that, and I really appreciate that about that line. So, if you're under 18, we don't want you here. Go away. This is not the podcast for you. Um, If you're 17 and a half, I do not care. Honestly, if you're 18, I still don't really want you to be here. This is about how to be a sex worker, and that is not anything that you need to be concerning yourself with if you are under 18. So please just get the heck out of here. Nobody wants to get in trouble, and we want to keep you safe as well. So just go. Anyways, everyone else. Oh, what else do people talk about in intros? Okay, so I'm just gonna be right. This podcast is gonna be about. I don't think I've said that yet. It's gonna be about. So it's gonna just have kind of a bunch of ramblings, kind of like a sex worker's diary, but with a major emphasis on resources and how I've kind of got to the level that I am at in my sex work life. And there's a bunch of resources and strategies and stuff that I honestly don't do, and if I did do, I would be making a lot more money and I would probably be a lot more successful. But a bitch has burnout. So I do what I can. And what I can do is cam on cam sites, make my husband upload all my content to my OnlyFans, and I can handle exactly one social media. And that one social media right now is Blue Sky, which is the one that like nobody uses, kind of. but I've gone for that because I'm not burned out on it at this point in time. So, anyways, that's all I can handle this moment in time. Um, so I'm not doing it anymore. But I know of a lot of things, and I have tried to do many other things in my business, and it has worked really well, and I made more money. But I've just kind of decided to dial it back and not push myself too hard. However, that does not mean that the knowledge is not there and that other people can't use the insane amount of knowledge that I have acquired over the years trying to figure out how to do this well. So I have like more of a burnout level than I'd say most people that I have ever met. Um, if I work for more than 2 if I work for more than 3 or 4 days in a row, I'm gonna have a headache, I'm gonna be out. I'm gonna be useless. I'm not gonna be able to get out of bed, or work for the next, like, week. Sometimes this happens to me if I work 2 days in a row, although it's not like the burnout period is not for as long. So what is my point? Right, this podcast is also going to have a lot of, what was I saying? Situations. Because I have a bit of an ADHD brain. Not enough to have ADHD, but enough to lose my train of thought mid-sentence. Oh, good Lord. What was I even saying? Ugh, I apologize, listener. I am in no way a professional podcast creator. Okay, this is a podcast. I'm going to give you a bunch of resources and ramblings. Oh, right. My point was that there's a lot of great resources that I have that I don't necessarily use. And it's not because you shouldn't use them or that I have never used them. It is just because I don't have as big of a capacity um, to do things in my business as you might have. So, right. Um, if you Right. Okay. Let me just tell you my level of being a sex worker so that you kind of understand the experience that I'm coming from. Uh, so first of all, I am like an information slut. Every day I listen to some sort of resource that's giving me information or YouTube video, and I listen on like 2 times speed. So I go through podcasts so fast. I can binge podcasts that have hundreds of episodes and they just go by so quickly because I listen to podcasts on slow. I have to listen to them on fast, otherwise I can't pay attention. So I just have loads and loads of information. Um, and I would like, you know, I don't know. I think it's great when you take lots of information from lots of different places and put them into a single brain so you can kind of find the patterns within them and see what kinds of things are working for people the most and what is working for people at different levels. If you're a sex worker that makes $2,000 a month, that's fantastic. Like, that is making a living in a lot of places as like, if you're not a single person, if you're living with someone else and like some roommates and you're making $2,000 a month, that's still pretty good. Um, yeah. Anyways, I'm losing my train of thought again. What was I saying? Oh, goodness, why am I like this? Okay, so I make around 4 to 6 thousand dollars a month. And I work about, on average, like 11 days in the month. And hours, hours that I'm online, oh, I don't know. Maybe you know what? I'll have to tell you in a future episode. I have to look it up and see how many hours I actually work. But it's really not that much. And if I were able to, also, excuse me, if I were able to implement more of the stuff that I'm going to be telling you about, I can make so much more money. But it's because of this level of burnout that I'm at, where I'm at. So I think I'm doing pretty damn good for the small number of hours that I can actually get myself to hop online. Um, yes. Okay. Is there anything else I need to tell you? We went over who I am, what my level of income is, how much experience I have. The podcast is going to be essentially like about resources, and I'm going to try to keep the episodes short, but we'll see what happens. I'll just try to take one resource and talk to you about it and then end the episode. I have no idea how often I'm going to be uploading. Um, I'm just going to be uploading, not editing, and publishing. Like, or I mean, recording, not editing, and publishing. Just recording and publishing immediately. So there's not going to be a schedule. Uh, yeah, I think that's everything I need to tell you. I think that's it. Okay, I'm gonna go. I'll see you soon. Yeah, see you next time. Bye.